Hey everybody, this is Rustin with Metalholic in the Idaho music scene. With us today, one of the biggest bands in Boise, half the world. How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Thanks for having us.
We're thrilled to have you guys here at our big event tonight, but more important, we want to find out what's going on with you guys. So, for the rest of Boise who doesn't know you yet, and for the rest of the world who will be checking us out on Metalholic, can you introduce yourselves one at a time and tell us a little about what you play, and then I want to hear about how the whole band came together.
Stage right, you want to start?
Sure, I'm Brett Peterson. I'm the guitar player, one of them.
I'm Matt Hansen. I play bass.
Pete Weaver. I play drums and record the band in my studio.
That's true. Mary, Miguel, vocals.
Sean, I play guitar.
Sean is the quiet member of the band, as we're discovering. So
It depends.
he's camera shy anyway. So tell us a little bit about, because when I first moved here from the Bay Area and whatnot, from Phoenix, one of the first names I heard was your guys'
You
band.
did?
Yes.
When was that?
From
About 4 years ago, but
Okay, that's cool.
but I haven't had a chance to see you or hear you yet, so I don't even know what you're going to sound like, because first thing when you hear female-fronted metal in this case is you think of bands that are like symphonic goth, and you guys are being a different genre than that of metal. So tell us a little bit about how the band came together and sort of what you see your guys' style as.
I have to talk to this guy.
Yeah, sure, Pete.
So the three of us worked together years ago and started jamming. And for a while, the band had a male singer, a guy who really great singer named Dan Costello. And you know, the band did a few shows, and eventually Dan moved out, and Mary came in, and Sean came in, and we definitely automatically all of us migrated towards a hard rock metal with female vocals sound style, and started recording in about 2000. And I've got a studio system set up at my house, and so we're working on third album with Mary, fourth album altogether right now. And so we just posted a little bit of that, kind of some samplers on Facebook here just about 2 weeks ago. And you know, the band has always been very serious about music, serious about hoping to do it full time as a career, just like millions of other bands out there. And it's even harder now that the music industry has sort of destroyed itself or imploded because of the you know, major labels all closing. For the most part, they barely exist. So who knows how that works out for the future for musicians trying to, you know, rise up. And that's just my personal thoughts. Can't imagine how that's going to work for the future. But so we're still at it, working on our new album. And Boise's you know, it's a small town. It's really hard in Boise for bands playing originals, especially, I think, hard rock version and metal originals, to find a place to play. If you play dance covers, oh, you can get gigs right and left.
Just need to change the beat to our song.
Yeah, start playing the dance beats. So we, you know, we play where we can. We're the big venue in town, Knitting Factory. You know, we've done probably the lion's share of our shows there. We travel around and play regionally. We've played Seattle, Portland, Austin, Texas, and haven't what? Oh, it's been a while. It's been a while. What's that? Oh, yeah, it's been a long time. Yeah, it's been a long. Anyway, I'm sorry to talk too much.
He's good.
So if there's a silver lining to the change that's happened, not so much the change that's happened in the music industry, but if there's a silver lining, at least technology has advanced to the point where you guys can, without having to spend a ton of money, record music and put stuff together without having
I think the record companies are gone, but it seemed like you had to be one in that billionth band, right time, right guy, right everything to get signed, and then to make it, hopefully. And now you can just upload anything, and if people like it, it'll spread.
You just never know. You just never know, unfortunately. It makes you worry about people when you got Bieber and Minaj headlining the world. So
the viral YouTube video radio seems to be the way anybody gets signed these days.
There you go. So you'll have to come up with something catchy
Your time.
to go along with the music to catch everybody's eye. So tell us a little bit about how it's going with writing the new album, recording the new album. How is it going to sort of be different from the previous album in terms of growth and whatnot?
Yeah, I want to hear what you guys have to say about that.
Well, I think there's one thing we have to kind of credit for. We are actually signed to a label, which is Music and Film. Our manager is Stephen Wrench. Stephen Wrench has been around in the music industry for a significant amount of time. He's most noted for managing the band Leonard Skinner for about 20 years. So he has a pretty reputable name. He also has a company that's focused on radio promotions as well. And
Worldwide.
Worldwide.
Which is pretty cool.
And so he's eagerly anticipating us to get this album done. We've tried to raise the bar. I think each time we've written an album, and this is the first album we'll have where me and Sean are both writing some music, but we all write in the band, so we all contribute. And we're thinking that when we get this album out, we've got things dialed in a lot better than what we've even done in the past, and primarily focusing on guitar tone and bass and how it all fits together. And if you've ever heard anything that's come out of Pete's studio, it's competitive with what you're hearing, on the world-class type studios, because everything's kind of moved to the Pro Tools setups. But for the most part, we're pretty excited about the music. This time around, we've added the addition of some strings to kind of enhance some of the stuff we're doing. I think fans that maybe used to like Evanescence, but now are kind of more into Hailstorm and maybe In This Moment, but we're not quite so much about the screaming aspect. We're a little bit more focused on the music aspect. I think those are the ones that would probably really enjoy hearing our type of music.
Cool. So let's talk real briefly for each of you about influences. We'll start with you, Mary, because you're the one singing. You're up there in
They're
front.
singing.
And it's interesting because as I talk to Maria Brink from In This Moment or Lizzie Hale from Hailstorm, anytime I talk to any of these singers who front these bands, their main influences vocally almost always seem to be men. Is that the case for you?
It is the case, I think, primarily because there's so few women that sing hard rock. So I have to say my influences are men, and I've always loved Robert Plant, even though I'm going way back, but I think that's my dream guy, vocalist of all time. So I admire all the women though coming up, and I sure hope there's a lot of young ones coming up, some females that will,
What made you first want to start singing? I don't know the answer to that. Like, when you were in high school.
I don't know. That's a good question.
I remember you saying something about you wanted to, your mom ever played with Sound of Music.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, my sister took me in her Fiat once, and she was older, and we just grew up with Sound of Music and all this stuff, which is great. But she put in Black Dog by Zeppelin and took me for a ride, and that was kind of it. Opened my horizons.
What about you, Sean? What about the sixth string for you?
Actually, I started playing bass first.
Oh, really? I was thinking it was.
Well, I'm black, so I had to play.
Dumb stereotypes.
I'm a bass player. So.
Well, you started out right at least.
Well, yeah, the first band I ever was in, though, they already had a bass player, so.
Didn't you play drums at one point too?
Well, yeah, like school.
He plays everything.
It's like the entire rhythm section. So as a guitar, or just as a musician, who's probably the key or essential influence for you?
No idea. I think hearing like Living Color and 24/7 Spies back in the day was kind of the first thing. I was like, oh,
Man,
Nice.
I think you play guitar.
that's two great
But
bands.
But yeah, and that's the only reason I switched to guitar was because the first band I was in already had a bass player. So
It's the way it happens sometimes, and you never know how it's going to turn out. What about you, Pete?
As a little kid, I did the wooden spoon thing that Mom gave me and hitting pillows and hitting coffee cans. And I would play along with whatever was on the radio that my parents had playing, local rock stations. And so, for some reason, I gravitated towards drums and towards rock from toddler age. No idea why. And as far as influences, I was always about the hard rock stuff. So in drums again, John Bonham, Neil Peart, Terry Bozzio, those guys just blew me. Not from a drum standpoint, not so much. Kiss was great from the hard rock standpoint for me. Iron Maiden, Saxon, Scorpions, but from a drum standpoint, definitely John Bonham, Neil Peart, Terry Bozzio, Steve Smith.
Nice.
Yeah.
The 4-string rumble.
Matthew.
Well, I started out very young playing drums. That was my thing, and that was really my foundation. Taking, like 2 years of like steady drum lessons, just learning rhythms and timings and all that stuff. And what a great foundation it was. I eventually gave up because my next door neighbor got a drum set and I still only had a little practice pad, and I had enough at that point. So I moved on to strings, but I played classical instruments for many years, played viola and learned classical music, and I had great appreciation for classic stuff and just a wide variety of musics. I'm a huge fan of all sorts of different genres and all that stuff. But influences, I gravitate. There's so many great bass players out there, but bands like Living Colour, like you mentioned, Sean. Bands like King's X out of Texas that inspire me. Band out of Australia called Carnival that Pete turned me on to. It's just amazing. But yeah, I love the bass.
But when you started playing bass, was there a particular player that you sort of tried to emulate, or?
Wow, I try to learn something from everybody, but there's so many great. Doug Pennick from King's X, although his style, is his style. To try to even, you can just kind of watch and try to learn, but there's so many great.
Would you play along with records and stuff that you were learning?
Oh yeah, I would try and learn all sorts of from Flea, from the Chili Peppers, and try to see what they're doing, and so many great players out there.
So what about you, Bray?
Well, I'm a little bit different because I kind of change with the times, so to speak, and so I let a lot of whatever's current at the moment kind of influence me and take it in. And I think when things really changed for me, I didn't really take guitar overly seriously, but when Van Halen, of course, came out, I just had to learn everything he did, and then I became a big Joe Satriani fan. And then the thing that kind of really changed my life and made me want to get into a band is when I first heard the first Seven Dust song on the radio, and I was just blown away by what they were doing on the guitar, and all that low tuning stuff was adding new depth to big meaty fat chords, and so then it just kind of changed everything. After we kind of went from grunge to new rock, and now we're kind of back to more of a metal type scene. I'm just continually looking and evolving and seeing what else I can pick up along the way. But for those that see me playing, you'll see one of my guitars that I play is actually kind of a rare, hard to find now, but it's a John Conley Seven Dust guitar. And anyway, I'm kind of proud of it, and it plays great, so I keep moving forward.
I should mention too, he mentioned Carnival and he mentioned Seven Dust, which great bands. We happen to be fortunate enough to get to play with both of those bands.
That's true.
And have some great experiences.
See, and that was a phenomenal segue, because my next question, to sort of give people an idea of what you sound like without actually talking about it. If you guys could go out on tour with anybody, who would that band be that you could collectively agree on?
Oh man, how much time do you have? Do you want to do this alphabetically or numerically?
You get one band, who's it gonna be?
Okay, you go first, because I know you.
I want to go out with like Gojira or something, because I'm all into metal.
Meshuggah, that would be
anybody,
amazing.
you can't get heavy enough for me, so I'm
Sean likes it.
ready to stepchild of the band.
Sean likes it really heavy. The touring with Meshuggah, that'd be amazing.
What about you, Mary?
Carnival.
Really?
There's a song they play that it almost brings, well, it does, it brings tears to my eyes every time I hear it. And everything they do is just genius and perfect, and it's hard to believe there's a band better than them.
So what's the song? You can't just like throw it out there and not tell us.
What's the name of the song?
Famata.
Famata.
So,
And they played it live, and it was one of those bands where you hear the CD
Yeah.
and you think there's no way they're going to do that great live.
it's worth it to point this out. When they say carnival, they're saying carnival, so it's Karnival. They're from Australia.
Yeah, they're a great band.
Yeah, if you like Tool, you'll love Carnival.
So what about you then?
Okay. There's so many bands that I love and would love to have the honor of playing with, touring with.
He's
From the
qualifying this.
standpoint of a career,
Metallic.
I have to say, yeah, from the standpoint of a career, what hard rock band could you choose that would get your music to the most people? Well, it would have to be someone huge, and I guess I can't think of anyone better than Metallica to tour with. Yeah, world tour with Metallica, and we're the opener. Bring it.
That's
So
not
there-
bad. You see, for me, it would have been Kiss, but I'm a little bit older.
Would we get
so-
blown off the stage every night? Oh yeah. Would we get schooled every night? Oh yeah.
Everybody just wait
We
for us
get-
to get off to so Metallica.
I know we could.
Get these
Food
jokers on
thrown
the
at us.
stage.
What about you, Matthew?
I could go with like Seven Dust. I think we're all Seven Dust
Yes.
fans.
Nice.
Have had the opportunity to play with them.
And what cool guys
And
too.
just it's just a hard-working band, just been doing it for so long, and yet they go out there every night and just blow you away.
And when they were here not too long ago, I was fortunate because I was in the photo pit waiting to shoot photos, and they were just like caged beasts ready to take that stage.
Just their machine.
Yeah.
Clint Howard was just circling and
Yeah.
waiting for that first song to get started, and they were so animated. It was really cool to get to see him for the first time. So how about you, Brett?
Well, for me, it'd be probably a toss-up between Alter Bridge and Seven Dust, because I'm also a huge Mark Tremonti fan, mainly from the early Creed before it kind of got too commercialized. But Tremonti, whenever I hear him play, I've just never heard anyone that had more amazing guitar tone than he's had at some of the shows that I've gone to. And Alter Bridge, they've really got their act together, and it's a great performance. He's a great player.
So for you, it's Seven Bridge then,
Seven Bridge.
or Alter Dust, however you want to look at it.
No, but I probably lean towards my faithful loyalty towards Seven Dust because they're a great band.
Nice. All right, so last question, just for fun before we get out of here. The pointless question of the week. If half the world could appear on any television show or series, what would it be?
The Walking Dead. Yes.
Walking Dead.
Yes.
And would you play characters or would you play yourselves?
I would want to be a
zombie band?
character that gets eaten by a zombie.
Zombie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Never watched The Walking Dead.
Oh my God, Sean, I'm missing out.
No idea.
Half the world here in Boise tonight at the Powerhouse going to tune it up with the Samus Theory. Thanks so much for taking the time to talk with us, gang, and we look forward to the new CD. Any idea when it's coming?
Good question.
It's a few months away.
A few months away, so hopefully before the end of the year.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, beautiful.
Thank you so much for having us.